Hello, and thanks for joining me today on Geezers of Gear episode number 238. Today's podcast is brought to you by Mainlight, a national dry hire. Sorry, I'm having things going crazy on my screen here. Something is happening. Uh, Weird. I apologize for this. So, today's podcast is brought to you by Mainlight, a national dry hire rental provider specializing in supplying the latest lighting and stage equipment technology. Their extensive rental inventory includes moving lights, truss solutions, control consoles, LEDs, and an array of weather resistant IP65 rated fixtures, perfect for outdoor venues. Whether for theater productions, outdoor stadium events, or film TV broadcasts, Mainlight is the partner you trust with the gear you want. Committed to quality and reliability, Mainlight also provide a robust selection of used sales options to their clients. Each item is meticulously maintained, owned by Mainlight, and comes with a 60-day depot warranty, providing you with confidence in your purchase. Strategically located across the U.S., their 4 key locations include Teterboro, New Jersey, Wilmington, Delaware, Nashville, Tennessee, and Las Vegas, Nevada. Mainlight combined the vast resources of a national company with the attentive, personalized service of a local provider. Discover how Mainlight can equip your next event by visiting mainlight.com today and get a direct quote through their comprehensive online ordering platform. Today's podcast is also brought to you by Elation. Elation is pleased to offer the new Proteus Radius, a high-intensity beam effects fixture with solid-state phosphor-converted light engine for intense power at long distances. IP66 rated, the Proteus Radius delivers an ultra-narrow 0.9 degree beam, 0.9 degrees, that leaves a long-lasting impression across vast distances. Fast 360-degree movement on both axes, CMY color mix, gobos, prisms, and frost allowed designers to create an array of stunning aerial effects. Check out the Proteus Radius today at elationlighting.com. Well, I'm back. Episode number 238. And so it's bizarre that I'm having tech problems this morning because yesterday I recorded episode number 237 with Glenn, CEO and founder of AED in Europe. And it's weird. We got to the end, or we were getting near the end, I should say, probably 10, 15 minutes to go. And I noticed that my recording software was basically failing. And so it showed the little live or recording light is red and it's got a timer inside it. And it was frozen at an hour and 50 seconds, 1 hour and 50 seconds, and entirely frozen. So I have a Mac. If you put your mouse over it, you get the little spinning beach ball, meaning that that application is just completely frozen. So at this point, I'm still recording. I'm still talking, or I think I'm recording. I'm talking with Glenn and trying not to panic while I'm realizing that it's entirely possible that I'm no longer recording. It's also entirely possible that I lose the entire podcast that we've just recorded, which happened to be a really good one. And so we finally got to the end of our communication, and I said thanks, and couldn't stop the software, couldn't do anything, couldn't hang up on the call. And so I just had to hold down the power button on my Mac and shut everything down. And so I've contacted the company, the software company who I use to record our podcasts. And have submitted some files to them and stuff. So we're gonna hopefully be able to recover this, and hopefully by the time people hear the live, or not live, but the recorded uh, episode number 238, you will have already heard 237, because 237 was a really good conversation, and I'd hope that everyone has the opportunity to hear it. And so if you know Glenn, very interesting guy, very colorful guy, very smart person, smart outside of business and outside of our industry. He's a pilot. He's just got all of this other knowledge involved, and he also owns a film studio, film and television studio. And so, of course, one of my favorite topics lately has been AI. And I talk with smart people and get their take on it and try to understand more about what people are thinking about its impact on our industry, et cetera. And so Glenn and I had this really cool conversation. And again, I hope you get to hear it, because it was fun. It took a very different approach, or a new concept, where we looked at it as, instead of AI replacing humans, AI was augmenting or supporting humans, especially in our industry. And so we used a couple of examples. We both agreed that we want AI and robots to handle things like life-saving surgery. So, if you've got, God forbid, cancer, or any sort of heart surgery or whatever, that AI and robots would be able to manage that surgery, because number one, they'd have more information than any surgeon possibly could. Two, they wouldn't make mistakes. They wouldn't slip or miss or accidentally cut the wrong thing or something. Not that surgeons do that very often, but you would take out that whole human mistake side of things. And unless, of course, their computer software failed like mine did for that episode, you're looking pretty good. So surgery was one. It was funny because Glenn said, I want AI and robots cooking my food. And then we got into a discussion about that. And what we finally agreed, both of us agreed on the fact that it would be great to have robots and AI basically prepping the food. So doing all the cutting and portioning and whatever you want to call it, but all the preparation, and then the actual art, or the artistry of actually cooking and combining ingredients and creating flavor, would come from a knowledgeable and experienced chef. And it's funny because that carries over to our industry as well. You're getting the nuance and art from the artist, and you're getting sort of the tedious, repeated labor side of the project from AI and from robots. And, I think the same goes in our industry, the simple and mundane, repetitive tasks, the coding side of things, where a programmer is sitting at a desk putting in the same lines of code that he's had to do for every show that he does, or she. But at the end, the artist is the one creating the art. It's not AI creating the art. AI is just supporting the art. And so that's hopefully the direction that common sense takes us in all things. That AI supports humans. It doesn't make an effort to replace humans. But there's some fear involved in all of this as well. I'm a realist, and I'm listening to all sides of this. I spend a lot of time listening to guests on Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan gets really smart guests on the topic of AI. He's had the founder or the CEO of ChatGPT or OpenAI has been on multiple times, or at least once. I heard him once, anyways. He gets Elon Musk on quite often. He had Ray Kurzweil on, and they talk a lot about, as AI becomes sentient and more human-like, it is going to sort of leapfrog, jump over humans, because it's just going to be smarter than humans. And I don't know. None of us really know. Maybe some people sitting at the top of Google or OpenAI, or maybe Elon Musk knows. But Elon Musk seems to be more respectful, fearful, careful with this technology than most really smart people are. And he has rang the sort of emergency bell a few times on this. So we'll see. I do think that this is probably one area where, God forbid, we get the government involved, and hopefully without any incentives to, build their stock portfolios or whatever, they're going to make good decisions for the American people and for the people of the world on, just some legislation that stops AI from controlling the world. But anyways, so that was an interesting conversation. And again, I apologize anytime our tech fails. It's only happened, I think, 3 times in the entire history of the podcast, 3 or 4 times maybe. And so I hope that we were able to recover this podcast. If not, I might even ask Glenn to do it again because it was such a great conversation. And I also want to help promote the amazing companies and brands that Glenn is building at AED. So today we have one of my favorite people, another one. I say this about so many people, but I love this guy, David Milley. We had back on the podcast, or we had on the podcast, episode 14 in 2019, and he's back on again today. I had to peel him away from his incredibly busy schedule of retirement. So you may or may not know, David sold his lighting business. If you're younger and new to this industry, or maybe you're in Europe or something. So David Milley had a company called TLS Inc., and it was based in Alabama. He sold that business to 4Wall back in 2012, stayed on to work with the company for a few years before kind of taking a different turn in life. And David is now retired. He manages some real estate, spends time renovating his house that he lives in with his wife, Deanne. And they both do some community theater work. David's consulted on a few lighting projects, I think. And he and Deanne went through some boats. They had that sort of 2-foot-itis where they bought a small one and got a little bit bigger a few times, I think. And they traveled a whole bunch. And then I think what happened is the hurricane hit. He can tell us a little more about this, but I think the hurricane hit and scared the hell out of them, and they moved back inland, sold their boats, and they've become landlubbers again. But David tells me that now his main source of income is basically winning money from his buddies at golf. And so that doesn't surprise me. He was an avid golfer the last time I saw him. I think the last time I saw him was probably the last time I played golf with him at one of the LDI events, and that had to be more than 10 years ago, probably. Oh my God, time moves so fast. It's probably 15 years ago. I don't know. But anyways, I would love to welcome back Mr. David Milley. See ya.